very quick, and after that, I will post it in YouTube, okay? Just in case some people miss it. All right. So anyway, guys, let's get into the topic tonight. I know a lot of you are going to attend this competition on the coming Sunday. So the competition is called IgniteCS Programming Competition or Program Expo. How many of you have been that one before in the past 3 years? Type something. All right. I know some of you guys done this one multiple times, actually. Do you anyone actually did this one in the past, for example, 3 years? I don't know how many times we did this before, but 3 years in a row. Yeah, Jed, I think Jed did it. All right, not Game Gala. Okay, this is a different one. You know, normally this is also an in-person event. Okay, it's more fun. It's really more fun in person. You get a T-shirt, you got a nice lunch, and but you know, hopefully this is the last online competition. All right. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna just talk briefly about what the competition is and then what to do in terms of preparation. If this is the first time participating, what would you expect to happen? At the end, I'm going to invite some of these winners we had in past years, you know, Justin and Eric here. They're both joining me together. They will share their experiences. Okay, they've done different kind of competition multiple times. I'm sure you can hear a lot of good things from them. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, guys. So we're talking about, you know, this, you know, so we call it competition. Okay, but I really don't want to use this word too much. Because this is, in my opinion, a very special kind of a competition. And because you do not go there to take an exam, okay? It's not an exam. So for those of you who are still kind of nervous, oh, I'm gonna, you know, be sent to this place to do another exam, I'm gonna get graded. And if I'm not doing very well, my parents will be very mad. No, it's not like that, okay? So this is a competition. I think it's more like a show, okay? It's a very good opportunity for you to showcase your projects and to present what you have done. You do not have an exam because you already finished your project beforehand. So far, you should already have your project finished, right? If you don't have the project finished, I think you will be in the trouble. You probably need to finish that tomorrow, okay? So by the time you participate, you'll be in the actual competition. You need to make sure that all right, let's actually mute. So Justin, could you help to mute the participants? All
right.
All right. So yeah, just help me to manage the meeting. All right. So anyway, so you know what I was trying to say is that this is more like a show. Okay, you present what you have, and you showcase some of the cool program you wrote, explain how it works, and at the end you will get questions. You get a question from the judges. Okay, the judges are experts. They may from universities, colleges, they may from industries, companies, they may come from schools, teachers. So you will see different judges, and then they will, you know, have some kind of background on programming and computer science, and they will evaluate your project. But more likely, they will actually ask you a lot of good questions. You know, try to give you some good feedback. So this is actually a really fun event. All right, so it's one more time. This is not a exam. Okay, so don't worry about it. You will. I'm not trying to comfort you, but after the company, if this is the first time you ever do this, you will see actually a very much fun event. Okay, it doesn't work like this. So for those of you who've been to competitions such as science fair, okay, this is something very similar. Now, this is the image of a typical science fair view. Okay, for again, those of you who have seen or been to the science fair before, that's basically how it works. Everyone finish your project, you bring your project over to the actual, you know, normally it's a big convention center, huge space here. Everyone will be together and you set up your table. In science fair, it's very common to have this kind of poster to, you know, present what you have done in terms of research or experiment result. But in our case, we're mostly presenting some software project, computer science project, which involves a lot of code. So you just need to have your computer to present and show what you have done. All right, but that's basically what happens. Everyone wait here, and the judge is going to stop by and try to check out what you have done and ask you, some of the questions, and as I mentioned, give you some good feedback. All right, now this is actually a real image I took 3 or 4 years ago. I can't remember which year. Okay, so that was when this IgniteCS competition was held in person in the big classroom, in the big lecture hall at Cal Poly Pomona. And these are some of the judges. They're trying to check out what you have done. And these are the participants who were showing. Okay, I think all of this probably already graduated. They're in college somewhere. Okay, so I know some of this. But that's what happened. Now, obviously, you're not going to have this one on this coming Sunday. Everything will be in Zoom. And the good thing is that you guys have been Zooming for how long? Like almost 2 years, right? So this is really nothing new and pretty easy to use, pretty easy to do. And then you're going to talk to the judges with your camera open. And then all you need to do is show the project, what happens, and what you have done, and then followed by answering the questions. All right, so I'll talk more about what do you do, how to prepare, and then what kind of question we'll be expecting. Any kind of good tips you should keep in mind to help you to, do a better job in the competition. But that's basically what's going to happen. You can join a big Zoom meeting, and then they will send you to the breakout rooms for some of the judge interviews. All right, and then most of the time the interview happens like a one-on-one. Okay, so you're not going to go there to do a presentation like right now to 100 people. Some competitions do that, but most of competitions like this, I don't think they're doing that way. They're just doing the one-on-one judge interview. Okay, it's not necessarily privately. Okay, for example, during the actual, if you are in person in this big hallway, and the people staying beside you, they can listen, they can hear what you guys are talking about. It's really nothing super private. People can listen. I think this coming Sunday, they may do something similar. They, instead of you putting one judge and one student in the same breakout room, so they may have multiple students join the same breakout room with multiple judges. So maybe that's how it works. So, but you're not going to expect to do a big presentation to 100 people. That's not going to happen. So nothing to worry about it. It's a very informal, very relaxed, just like chat conversation with the judge. Okay, so pretty straightforward. And this is another game gala we did, I think 2 or 3 years ago. Some of you probably were here at that time. And as you can see, this is how the judges are checking out everyone's computer. These are the group of judges that look at your project all together. And they just ask you questions right away and then put some notes on their judging sheet. And then that's how they later on use those information to decide the winners. All right, so that's basically what happened. And now everything is in Zoom. All right, so that's basically what you will expect. The judge will be sitting like this and check out your project and ask you your question, and you will be sitting in front of the computer as well. And then by showing and sharing your screen, okay, remember, you probably will need to share your screen. That's very important. And then show your project, run the demo. I'll talk more about those one later on. Okay, so anyway, that's basically the big picture of this competition. Okay, how it works is virtual this year. It's almost like a one-on-one conversation with the judge, and then all you need to do is show your project. Okay, so for the whole competition, okay, you're not gonna have a lot of time. You don't need to, even though I know the time they said is probably 9:30 to 11:30 or 9:30 to 12 to noon. I don't think you're going to spend 2 hours there to talk. Okay, no, you probably only do 1 or 2 interviews from what we saw last time. Pretty straightforward. So you will probably only talk maybe 5 minutes. That's a very typical. Sometimes you do a little bit more, 10 minutes, depending on the number of students, depending on the number of judges you will need to meet. But yeah, so all you need to do on Sunday morning is to get up, join Zoom, and you will be sent into the breakout room, and then they will conduct an interview or 2 interviews. Very rarely you will do more than 2 with some judges, and it's going to take you about 5 to 10 minutes. Of course, you might need to wait in the line before it's your turn. Okay, but your actual judging or presentation or demo time will be just that 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, so that's how it works. All right, so what to prepare for the interview? Okay, I said about a 10-5 minutes. So what happens? All right, so very simple, very straightforward. Obviously, you're going to introduce yourself or you want to say hi. And you know, of course, the judges will, you know, ask you your name, you know, do some greetings first, but then you normally will start with talking about your project. Okay, because remember, the judges hasn't really seen anything yet. All right, so they will just need to know, oh, you know, Tom, what have you done? You know, show me, talk about your project. So that's when you need to start kick off your presentation. Okay, you're gonna talk about like 2 or 3 minutes, no more longer than 3 minutes. Okay, what do you have done? You know, what is the project and how it works? Show the demo, something you have already prepared. And after that, then you're done. Then it's judge turn. The judge will start asking you questions. Okay, they will ask you, you know, how did you implement this little, you know, animation here? What did you do to make this happen? What kind of algorithm did you use for this AI prediction? How did you make this graphics? And what is the challenging you know, part of this project? And what is the biggest thing you learned from this project? So there could be all these different questions, but I'll talk a little bit more later on. It's the question will always be around yourself, your project, and whatever you presented. So they're not going to randomly test something else. Okay, if you're talking about a game development project, they're not going to test you and say, oh, you know, do you know how the AI works in machine learning and deep learning? No, that their goal is to look at your project, understand what you have done. Their goal is not to test you. Okay, so that's the fundamental difference between an exam and a showcase like this. All right. So I saw Darren raise the hand. Darren, do you have a question, Darren?
Yeah, when we join the breakout room, the judge is gonna ask some questions, right? So is it gonna be how every part work in this code? I mean in this project or others? Questions?
Yeah, so there, you know, that's what I mean. There is no standard set of questions. The judge will ask you anything they want. All right. However, what I just mentioned was that they are going to ask just about your problem, about what you just presented. Okay, if you presented the game, okay, so the judge might just ask you, you know, how did this, for example, how did this collision works? What is the game goal, right? How did you make this player play by itself? What is the game AI you use? This is just sample questions, okay? Or if you're presenting a mobile application, the judge will ask you, okay, yeah, that's very cool. How did you, you know, make this screen? How did this button works? And what did you do to store the data? How can you enable the user to talk to each other? So the question will only about your project. So there's no set answer or questions that they will tell you that what they will ask, but you don't need to worry about that because as long as you know your project, you know your stuff, okay, you're not going to be challenged.
Excuse me.
All right. All right.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
so Darren, did that answer your question?
Excuse me.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right. Okay. So, oh, sorry. Who? Why don't you guys raise your hand? Let's go that by one. Okay, Emma, what's your question?
Well, at the end of the competition, will the judges announce winners?
I don't know. That we need to look at the announcement. I don't think they're going to announce the winners very short period of time or during the same day. I don't think so because when I heard there are quite a lot of participants this year, and if there are many participants, it's very difficult to get the result within the same day. So you know, it really depends. So you can ask the organizers on that day, so they will probably tell you more about that. All right, and Lucas, what's your question?
When are we gonna do this? Like
When?
day?
The date and time?
Oh yeah.
I think it's Sunday. Sunday morning, I think the check-in or they start at 9:30. We should actually take a look at the website later on. Okay, I have one slide to show you that. All right, and good luck. Sorry, good old Jack.
Yeah, I have a question. So
Yes,
what if you didn't remember?
I'm sorry, Jack. What's your question?
Remember they're gonna ask you a few questions about your code. What if you don't remember?
Oh No, you just be honest, right? So you just say, oh, this part I done that a long time ago. I don't remember what works, but I do know that, the approach I used was that I use this library. I did, process this input and get that output. All right. You just don't want to say, I don't know. Okay. You want to, say something else to try to recover that. Okay. So don't worry about it. And also, I don't think they're going to get into that deep. Okay. Again, it's not a test. The judges, you have to understand their goal is try to encourage you. Okay. That's the bottom line. Their goal is not to criticize you or find out which piece you don't understand. Okay. So that's why, guys, I can see a lot of you are still in this kind of exam mindset, which is not the case here.
The reason why I'm worried about it is like some of the code I don't really understand. I kind of just search in Google.
Yeah. Well, then you just talk about the high level functionality. What is the purpose of this chunk of the code rather than.
Doesn't you explain the purpose?
Yeah. So just be honest, and then the part you don't know, just I can't remember. It's too much details here. I was just using somebody else's code and I found it online, but still explain the high level purpose. All right, Eric, what's your question?
What is the final price of the competition?
Sorry, what is the final what?
Final price.
I don't know. You gotta ask the judges and the organizers.
Is it a Xbox game Gala did?
I know again I had that one, but who knows what they're gonna provide. So you need to ask the judges.
I
Okay.
don't think they have a prize because last year I participated. They just gave me like a certificate. They never gave me a prize of any sort.
Yeah. It depends. Last year I remember because it was virtual. All right, so it was difficult. But the year before, when we were in the actual site, I think they will have some kind of awards. I don't think you're going to expect a lot of Xbox. That's actually quite expensive. Besides this, I remember this time is free, right? There's no fee to register, so don't expect too much.
Okay.
Okay, so Lucas, any question?
Should we use a presentation?
I'll talk more about that one later on. It's an option. Okay, you can use that or not. But even you do the slides, just use a very few number of slides. Okay, don't go too long. All right, good question. And here my Mac doesn't work. Can I chat? So do you want to chat your question? All right, just type your question there. Okay, I'll see it. And then Winona, what's your question?
Approximately how long will the wait time be?
The wait time, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it really depends. If you're the first one, you're lucky. You're sent to the judge room first. Then you're gonna do it, at 9:30. But if you're not lucky, you probably have to wait till 11:30. So that happens.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's actually the same case in the actual classroom. Sometimes you just have to wait there for a long time.
Okay.
People always just play games.
Sure.
All right. Okay, so Jerry, what's your question?
How long does the competition last?
I think it's the whole morning, but as I mentioned, you're only gonna do 5-10 minutes.
Right. Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna hold on a question a little bit. Okay, let's actually move on a little bit more. I still have some slides. One more time, guys. This is a lot of fun event for those of you who've been to the actual on-site competition. It's really a lot of fun if you agree, right? So you can see each other's project. You can get some good feedback. Now I know you guys actually spend a lot of time playing games in the classroom while you're waiting. And you had some good food. Sometimes you got a t-shirt and you got some award, you will have some nice, gifts in the afternoon. So anyway, so it's a fun event. Okay, just take it easy. It's not an exam. One more time. Okay, So also don't forget the judges are always super nice. Okay, they're not your school teachers. Okay, guys, the school teachers are going to be very tough. These judges are here to encourage you, to inspire you. Okay, to give you good feedback. Okay, to give you positive comments. That's what a judge is supposed to do. I've been to the judges for many times for different events. You know, that's why I try to explain to you guys. I'm not a tester. Okay, I'm not going to give you a tough score or anything. I just want to see what you have accomplished, especially, you know, a lot of you guys are actually doing something really complicated at your age. Okay, I can't even imagine that. And then the judges will you get very good feedback. So nothing to be nervous, nothing to be worried about. All right, and one more time, guys, if you don't know the time, I think here the basic information, whatever, no matter what, you just check in. If you register, you should check in at 9:30 in the morning. And I do see that, let me show you this, guys. I do see that they post the links here. Not, you can't click right now, but I assume that on that day you can click it. Okay, guys, if you're not sure, if you never got emails, this is very important. Okay, let me send this link here in the chat, guys. So looks like you are supposed to actually go to the home page here. And then there are 4 buttons. Now you need to actually go and click on the button to join the meeting on Sunday morning. It's going to be a Zoom link. Okay, so nothing really special, just a Zoom link here. Let me see if there are any questions here.
Also, can you send the link to the website in the chat, please? Thank you.
Yeah, I already did. Yeah, take a look if you got it. I already sent the link. All right, so let me come back to my slides. I'm almost done. Okay, so I have a few other tips to share here, and we'll open for question later on. Okay, so some of the tips I really want you guys to keep in mind. Okay, I kind of talked about this one last time. I forgot when. Okay, last year. Some of you probably seen this one before. Whether you've seen it or not, okay, just listen again. Just try to remember it. It's super important, guys. Okay. The reason I can share with you this one is not only because I help a lot of students to prepare this, but also I've been the judge. Okay, I can tell you a lot of things from the judge's side, how the judges feels, how judges will like your project. Okay, so number one, okay, this is what you want to talk about first. Okay, when you start your presentation, when the judges will ask, Eric, could you talk about what you have done? Show me your project. Okay, so what you want to start is really to tell the judge, why are you trying to make this project? Or why did you choose this project to work on? Okay, talk about the goal, the purpose. And if you can tell a story about this project, and that will be really impressive. But you do not want to start with a super technical thing. Okay, you don't want to start, oh, I made this neural network model to classify images. It turned out this machine learning model is 70% accurate for most of the time, which is awesome.
Interesting, like, yeah.
Sorry, was there a question?
Yes.
All right, so sorry, was that Vanona?
The question is, do you have to say stuff too complicated, or can you just like go really easy?
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So if your things are too very complicated, you don't want to go there to jump into the complexity first. Okay, tell the story. So that's the example, because I know like a lot of you are actually doing something really complicated, like deep learning, neural networks, and very technical. Sometimes judge may not have the same experience that you do, right? I'm mainly talking about a middle school, high school student project. So, but even that, just hold on, okay? Just talk about why are you making this? Talk about the story behind it, because if you don't tell the story, it's very difficult for the judge to remember it. Okay, because everybody is going to talk about programming. Okay, you did machine learning, you did AI, and he did a mobile app, and she did a web application. It's all over the place. I maybe will remember this one after first couple of projects, but if I can see, I have to see 10 projects in that morning. After the 10th project, I'm gonna basically forget some of the project. But if you actually told me a little story, most likely I can still remember it. Is if that's a very interesting story. Okay, I give you an example. I talk about this, machine learning AI project. A couple years ago, I had this guy work on this very complicated project using neural network to classify the images. The reason he want to do this is he want to classify and analyze the pictures of food, right? And he want to know for this food how much calorie in it. So he used AI to automatically analyze it and classify it, and then try to get the number, which is a very cool and useful project, right? So I don't know how many of you actually care about the being stay healthy and eat healthy and control the calorie, but very useful. All right, so very cool project, very difficult. But I told him, don't start with that. Think about why you're making this. Okay, I can't remember exactly why he made it, but I give an example. Now, what you should start is you want to say, you don't want to say AI first. You want to say, I got a comment from one of the classmates who is a girl I really like. And then she suddenly told me that I need to, lose some weight because it looks like I changed a lot. And I got a very, frustrated that day. I was very sad, and that really hurts me. So I decide to, control my diet. I want to eat healthy, but I don't know how to do it. So I just developed this AI application that helped me to recognize all the food and knowing the calorie all the time. So that is the story. Okay. I'm sure after all the presentations, judge will still remember that. Okay, any project, guys, there can be a story. I'm sure you guys, when you did that project, there was a story there. There was a reason why you're making it. Think about what was that reason, and then share that with the judge first, because that's actually the fun part. Coding is fun, but if you talk too much coding, it's getting a little bit tedious sometimes. Okay, hopefully you guys get it. After the story, after talk about why, show the demo. Okay, don't talk too much. Just show the project, run the demo. So don't forget, I said live demo, which means that you need to run the demo live using Zoom and share your screen and show it to the judges. It's not required that you do a live demo. You can have a video. Some of the project I know is very difficult to set up, maybe involved with hardware, then you can just do a video. That's totally fine. Okay, but if you can run it live with the camera on, that's the best case, because people want to see live stuff, right? Think about why you guys are all like this kind of Minecraft videos, YouTube videos, because he's talking a lot, but the majority of the content is still about actual the game scenes, right? How he plays, all this cool and very interesting, animations happening. All right, so that's the power of a live demo. So same for your project, show the live demo, run it. Okay, always run it, show the result, and talk about what happens. After the live demo, you for sure, don't forget, this is the computer science competition. So you actually need to run and show the code. But I don't want you to explain the code line by line. You don't have that much time. Don't forget, you only have 2 or 3 minutes to talk about your project first. Okay, so all you need to do is just show the code, and this is what I done, and this piece of code helps to control the player. That piece of code helped me to predict this image, and that piece of code, deals with the UI. That's how the button is implemented. So you talk about a high-level function of the code, and that's all you need. The judges may see something and ask you, oh, tell me what does this length function do? And then you can just answer, oh, this one give you the length of the list, this one give you the length of the array, and just the integer. Okay, so but then at least to show the code, because this is a computer science project, the judge want to see what you have coded. Okay, your game might be very cool, but you don't want to spend all the time just to play the game. Okay, just also show the code. All right, now this one is not happening in the competition. Okay, so this one is something you should do today, tomorrow, and before the competition. Okay, practice, rehearsal again and again. Okay, when you go to talk to the judges, you don't want to talk randomly. You need to be prepared. Okay, you can write it down. You could do that. That can help you to memorize some of the things. But whether you write it down or not, you need to practice. Try to talk about this one to yourself, to your parents, to your friends. Again, very importantly, okay? Because you might get a little bit nervous, okay, especially in the beginning. We're all human beings. It's all very normal. So practice makes you a little bit more relaxed. Okay, it's all about practice and repetitions. Okay, so it's your moment. You only have this 5 or 10 minutes. So definitely put some efforts the day before to rehearsal it. Okay, and also whenever you talk, whatever you show, make sure it's very short and concise. So some of you ask me, do I need to prepare a slides for the presentation? The answer is yes or no. It depends. Okay, if you feel very comfortable following the slides, talk about it, go for it. If you feel more comfortable of just in a very freestyle and show the code and run stuff and go different places to show, that might be also very, very interesting. But either way, you want to control the time. Okay, your presentation probably only like 2 or 3 minutes. That's enough, and then you should spend more time to answer the questions. And when you answer the question, also try to make it very concise. Just don't keep talking, and let the judge also give you some kind of feedback and some good interactions. Okay, next one is obviously you have to know your stuff. Okay, so depending on when you finish a project, you might forget some of the details. That's totally fine, and you can still ask your teachers, ask myself, and but just in case something challenging you got, like challenging questions, not a big deal. Just be honest. Oh, sorry, I can't remember this one, but I do know that this piece of code actually does this and this. All right, so but the bottom line is that, as I mentioned earlier, when I answered another question, that the judge will only ask you a question around your project, around yourself. Okay, whatever you presented, that's how judges can actually start creating questions based on what you presented. So I wouldn't worry about some kind of totally random question they ask you about something you've never done before. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay, so review your code, look at the details, make sure you know all the components. Now, this one is very special, guys. A lot of you probably have done science fair, but you probably don't know this tip. I do see some of the really good students that really good at this kind of thing. Okay, most of the time after the presentation, the judge will ask you questions one after another. Okay, a lot of questions. All right, so obviously you have to answer those very well. There is also a very good way to let the judges to remember you, to let the judges to feel that you're very special, is by asking the judges some questions. Because the reason is that almost everyone I know that they're not going to ask judges a question. So if you happen to know to ask judge a question, the judge will be very surprised. Wow, this guy is cool, and is knowing, like, ask me questions, ask me for feedback, suggestion. Okay, so the question could be, could you give me some advice on what to improve? How do you think about this design? Do you like this feature? What would be the feature, if you were the user, what would be the feature you want to add next? Okay, so those are the questions that you should try to maybe pick a couple of those and ask for the judges. Again, the judges will be very happy, will be very impressed to see those questions. All right, so keep this in mind. Okay, not many people actually know to do this. I think it's a very good way to improve the interaction. All right, and last but not least, all right, so you really want to be respectful. Don't forget to say thank you. Very, very important words. All right, you'll be surprised that the judges sometimes just pick the winners based on which student they like or which student like more. Because sometimes I have to tell you, it's very difficult to differentiate the code. All right, so you wrote 120 lines of code, and she wrote 130 lines of code. Can you tell me that like the 130 lines of code is more complicated? I don't think so. Or you made a game project and then he made a mobile app project. Can you say that the game project is more complicated? I don't think so, because those are nothing really comparable. So sometimes it's very hard to differentiate people technically. But if you suddenly show very nice, respect, appreciation, you behave very well. These are all the good things to have that the judges will also appreciate. All right, so just don't forget to say thank you. And the truth is that the judges did spend their time as well to help you, and most of them are volunteers. That's normally how it works. All right, so these 8 tips are the same thing I shared a year ago. Hopefully some of you guys still remember. But it works for all this kind of project competition, not only for this IgniteCS competition, but also for science fairs, for any kind of project-based company, all works in the same way. All right, so hopefully you guys, got some good lessons. Before I turn over the question, I invited 2 guest speakers today to join me to share their experiences about participating this kind of competitions. Okay, I have Eric from Northwood High School, and he is very busy. He's going to be applying college very soon, but Eric has done quite a lot of competitions, okay, both project competition, but also USAO competition. He had a lot of experiences. Also, I have Justin here. Justin is 11th grade from Troy High School. He won some of the big things in the past half year, especially from the California Science Fair. So I will have both of them to talk briefly about their experience, some of the good, tips they may have. And after that, feel free, you guys have questions, let us know. All right. So I'm going to start with Eric first. Eric, are you still on the line?
Probably not.
So as I don't see you. Eric, are you there?
I don't think he can talk.
That's right. So Eric, could you send me a message to me very quickly? I just I had a hard time to finding you. So Justin, have you actually?
Is he Eric Sue?
Yeah, not Eric Su. It's actually
Oh, sorry.
Eric Jin.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't even know if he actually joined. You know what, Justin, why don't you start? So I'll see if he's here.
Okay, so okay, let me introduce myself a little bit. So my name's Justin, and I'm an 11th grader at Troy High School, and I've won a couple of project competitions before. One of them is the first place in the regional, like the Orange County Science Fair. For one of my projects, I won the first place for the engineering and computer science division. And that got me into the California Science Fair, so the entire state of California, and I got a honorable mention there as well. So for me, the tips and tricks I guess I'll be sharing is, first off, present your video, or no, not your video, present your project in a way that is like appealing to people. You have to market it like you're marketing it to someone who is going to buy it. Like the more interesting and more colorful you make it, the more it, like you have to understand the marketing and bragging. It's not the same thing, and you have to, mark up the good things and even mark up the bad things and make them part of the feature of your project so that you can stand out amongst the rest. And the second thing is pretty much, even if if you don't think your project is interesting, you have to treat it like it is. So view it and inspect it from like a third person's perspective who's never seen your project before. And I think that helps a lot with first impressions and how impressive your project can actually is. And the third, and I think it's the most important thing, and I think you guys hear this a lot from people, but the most important point is to not be nervous. I made this mistake during the interview of my California Science Fair interviews. And then there was a lot of stuttering, there was a lot of confusion and stuff like that, and that really messed me up. I think that took some points off. And don't be like don't try to like read off scripts or something like that. That's not going to help. Just like be calm. It's not going to be the end of the world if you mess up just a tiny little bit. Just present your video, present your project in a natural way, get all your points across, and just don't like, if you are being nervous, know that this isn't the end of the world if you don't win. And if you don't be nervous, you actually have a higher chance of winning anyways, because the judges are going to like it more. So yeah, that's my 3 big points, I think, that got me to where I am right now. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Justin. Yeah, next, I think you guys probably seen Justin's project. He actually has more project to show. We just need to figure out time for him to show it. It's a lot of cool project going on. And thanks again, Justin. And I think I'm having some trouble getting in contact with Eric. However, I do have another very special guest, Melody. And Melody, I know her just recently, but she is a very special. Some of you guys probably know her. Very good coder, and of course also done a lot of good project. So Melody also won different things, different competition over the past year. So Melody, do you mind, share a few words, some of the good tips and lessons you learned over the past years?
Sure. I have to join on my computer because my phone is almost out of battery.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
can you wait a while? Okay, thanks.
All right. So let me actually answer some of the questions first, okay, while we're waiting. And let me see. So, okay, I see some of you actually raise a hand. Leo, what's your question?
How many judges gonna be there in the pre-card?
I don't know, but from what we saw last year, it's mostly like 1 or 2. It's not going to be a lot. However, in person, normally there are more because it's easier for them to walk around and then, just talk about the different things. So I don't know, but it's not going to be a lot.
Okay, so it's just 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. All right, and then let me see some other questions. And Jack, do you have another question, Jack?
I forgot to write my question down. I'll raise my hand again if I remembers it.
Okay, no problem.
I think it's because it's too late and I kind of don't remember things.
That's cool. That's totally fine. And I see there's an iPhone raised hand. All right. What's her name again?
Daniel,
Oh, Daniel. Good to have you here, Daniel.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because I had class, I missed like 20 minutes of this. So will this be recorded?
Oh yes, I'm recording it. So I'll send a link later on. So you should be able to get it.
Can I leave this because I
could you send me? Why don't you message me your email? I want to make sure that I can send it to you.
Mom email?
Yeah, just message me and All right.
Let me message you my mom's email. No, my email, because my mom deletes a lot of her emails.
All right, no problem. And okay, Nathan had a question. How many people will participate? I don't know that, Nathan. So at least actually 400 people.
My professor's son, I joined.
Oh yeah, hey Melody, yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah, just share something briefly.
Sure. So for Game Gala, I was one of the first place winners for my division. I believe I was in 6th grade at that time. But the teachers, the judges are very nice. Just be polite to them, answer their questions honestly, and also ask them questions, as it will leave an impression on them, as Dr. Sun said. Also, they don't bite. They're also human beings, and they really like it if you share some of your experiences with the project, and they also like to hear your challenges when you were building your project, and they also like to ask what functions each part of the code serves, so be prepared for that. And also, I created a video with slideshows about how I created my project, so I just shared my screen and showed that on there and answered some of the questions, and if you do that, you'll be just fine.
Awesome, Melody. Wow, yeah, it's you sound like a pro. That's very impressive. Just like Melody mentioned, the judges are also human beings, so they're nice people, and they don't have motivation to try to challenge you. Okay. All right. And Demi, you have a question, Demi?
Oh yeah, so like I recently switched to a new computer that so like since it's a Mac that my Android Studio it's like haven't been working here.
Okay.
So I was wondering how important is like the live sort of demo of
Oh,
my
yeah.
thing or if a video recording of it would
I
be
think a video is fine. They never require live demo. Yeah, so I think the video is totally fine.
okay, okay,
But
great.
do you still
Thank
have
you.
you still have the code, Demi? At least put the code there.
I
You don't
should have it. Yeah. Worst case scenario, I have it on Google Colab. My old computer is still here. It's just that it is pretty broken that I don't think it can run Zoom and the Android Studio at the same time.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds
thank
good.
you.
I think a video is fine, Demi.
Okay, great. Thanks.
No problem. And Cassie, what's your question?
I kind of had like a similar question about the demo. So in like the initial presentation when we just tell them about our project, should we like share a screen and like this maybe show them a slide presentation or a live demo, or can it just be like an verbal explanation and then we ask them if they want a demo?
No, Cassie, you have to share a screen. If you don't share it, then you just talk. That's not going to work.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't even need to ask. You should always share because this is it's very for judges it's very difficult to visualize that by just listening. Okay, you know the project very well. They have to see it anytime. This is you can be polite and ask can I share my screen? Yeah, you can do that, but you should do that in the very first second.
Okay.
Because this is the CS competition. Even for science fair, I was judging also. I told my students same thing. This year I don't know if you've been to the California state final. They use this special software that also allows screen sharing. I just told my students just try to start sharing that in first place. Because otherwise, it's very hard to explain. And always have things visualized, more graphical. You don't want to have too much text. If you show things, you show the live demo, you show the graphical content, make it more interesting, more fun.
All right, thank you.
No problem, Cassie. All right, and so Jack, did you raise your hand again?
Yes.
All right.
I was going to ask you if can we share our screen, but since you already answered, it's a yes, right?
Yes, you should.
And,
you should always.
Yeah, are we gonna share on our in the breakout room, or is it?
I think breakout room. As I mentioned, it's very difficult to do like a public presentation like this. It's normally like individual rooms.
That's the reason why they do it in small groups. Like there's always around 3 or 4 people and you and the judge. So basically after you go, they will swap and they'll go so you can listen to them and they can listen to your presentation as well.
Exactly.
It's not 1-to-1.
It's depends. Most of the time it's one-on-one, but as Melody mentioned, they may put multiple students in the same room. It's not like 100% private, but it's definitely not a public presentation.
Okay, the last question is, do I need to run the origin code, which is the one on Unity, or can I just open the app?
Yeah, either way is fine. Yeah, you can run the build version, and but it's good to have the code available there just in case you want to see it.
That'll be hard because the code doesn't work on my computer.
That's okay. Well, that's why you don't have to run it. As long as you have the code, that file you can open, that's enough.
So GitHub works.
Yeah, GitHub works.
All right. Thank you very much.
No problem. And Erica, you have you have a question?
Yeah. So my problem is with the live demo. Since my project involves, well, basically everything's happening on a Raspberry Pi, and I can't exactly share screen that. So how would I do it?
Yes, we have a couple of projects like yours, Erica. And so 2 things. Number one, I think you should have a video demo as a backup. Okay, just in case something happens, you can do it. The video demo will help you. All right, so that one you need to have it for sure. Secondly, normally what we did was just use a camera to show it. Okay, and if you have a camera there and just aim it to your Raspberry Pi, sensors, all of this. So you open the camera and at the same time share the screen. That would be one way to try. However, if you think that process is overcomplicated, I definitely will prefer a video demo.
Okay.
I
Okay.
actually have a suggestion for that. So
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm using Raspberry Pi, but I know this like app that you can like download on your computer and you can like remotely access the Raspberry Pi. So
I
like
do know about that, and I was going to do that, but I'm kind of using a school computer that's blocking that from happening.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's better to like use a better
Oh, guardian.
to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. And Aaron, you have a question?
Yeah, how should we introduce ourselves? Like,
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think just if you don't need to talk too much, Aaron. But if you do, I would say something like special and interesting so that people can remember you. That's the bottom line. Okay, if you only talk about your name, grade level, they have that information. But your goal, Aaron, that's a good question, by the way, is to have the judge to remember you, because all the judging works by, you know, every judge will look at about 10, 20 projects, and then they will go back together to discuss. Okay, but they're not going to present everything they look at. They will probably pick the top 3, their favorite project, and that's when the judge, when you think about, okay, which project is my favorite, which one I do still remember. Okay, so that's why, back to your question, for the soft introduction, it's not the most important part. But if you do want to say something special. Okay, such as, you know, my you know, YouTube just reached, you know, 200 subscribers. Okay, or, you know, I'm the #1 the player in some kind of Minecraft server, something like that. Okay, so something special, fun, and people can remember. That's my recommendation.
okay, so just tell them something interesting.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You know, it's you know, always make it fun. People like fun and, you know, relax. Yeah, just that's why I also told you, you know, tell some good stories about a project.
Okay, so just be chill.
Exactly. Because the guys, the reason I say this is simply because I done the judges. The whole judging thing is exhausting. There was one time, every judge I was there, we have to look at a 30 project from 8 a.m. all the way to 4 p.m. So 30 judges, and every project we spend about 6 to 7 minutes, and it was so tired at the end of the day. Okay, so it's not much fun to look at the coding again and again, to be honest. Okay, so that's why having some fun things definitely will help yourself. All right, and Russell?
Okay, so when we go into Zoom, will they tell us what order will be, like we're number 5 to present, or it will just be random, like first come, first serve?
It's mostly like first come, first serve, but no, it also depends on when they send you to the breakout room, from what I see last year.
Okay.
Yeah, they will send you to the breakout room, and then, you know, and then the chair where our judge will actually call some names and start. Yeah. So that's why, you know, sometimes you're very fast, sometimes you have to wait for a couple of hours. That's not uncommon. So just be prepared.
Okay.
All right. And Lucas, do you still have a question? All right.
No.
Okay. Sounds good, guys. Any other questions? Let me look at the chat very quickly.
No.
So Andrew asked me, what if the project is very big, you cannot show it complete in 3 minutes? Wow, that sounds like a winning project. Okay, but, you know, still you should try to show it in under 3 minutes. Is that, Andrew, could you remind me, is that a what is that, the game, or what kind of project is that? Andrew, are you still there? All right, but, you know, try to show it under 3 minutes. You don't have to show every single detail. For example, if your app has a login, and you don't need to show the login, the sign up, right? So you don't have to do the sign up again. Just show the fun part, the core functionality, the most you know, exciting part. All right. Leo, you have another question?
Oh yeah, what's the maximum time we can go over to, like, say 4 minutes?
That depends on the judge, but normally they will cut you if you go over too much time. But you know, again, your presentation shouldn't be more than 3 minutes. Again,
Okay.
there's no rule, but what I'm telling you is that if you go too long, the judge getting tired, they don't want to see that long.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And so Jason's question, so will we be judged on the complexity of our project? You know, that's definitely a very important aspect. Okay, so they want to see how technical you are. This is the computer science project competition. That's obviously one of the important things, but that's not all of them, Jason. The reason is that sometimes it's hard to compare. Okay, you know, you work on an AI project, I work on a game project, and he did a hardware project. So which one is better? Okay, it may be not really directly comparable. So that's why every single detail matters. Okay, why you're making it, what is the story? Is this thing really useful? Okay, and then for your project, besides the project, what's the research you done? What's the results you found? Anything unexpected, anything new you see? What's your plan for the next step? So all of those matters. Okay, it's not just about the complexity, because sometimes it's very hard to measure that. All right, and yeah, Jet question, can you record and edit a video for your game? I think so. Yeah, you can have a video demo of your project, but I mentioned, if you can do a live demo, that's always better. All right. Serena's question, do you need to be waiting in the Zoom meeting for your turn the whole day? No, it's only in the morning. It's just a couple of hours. You might have to wait for a couple of hours maximum. Okay, so it's not going to be a whole day. I don't know, they can tell you the time. It's hard to tell the time. It's not like a fixed schedule. So you will be sent into a breakout room. I think they will just let you go. Erica's question, how long the judges will question us? Okay, so it really depends, but on average, I think a project will spend they will at most 10 minutes. Okay, it has to be less than 10 minutes, otherwise they don't have time to interview everyone. All right, and Emma, what's your question?
So after you do your presentation, can you go off the meeting, or do you still have to wait?
Ask the judge. Okay, ask them what do you need to do. All right, Andy had a great question. So what do you wear for the competition? In general, if you actually go on site, I definitely recommend something very formal, guys. Okay, don't feel awkward. It's formal means respect. Okay, so that's a very easy way to make the decision. And but for online, it's not that important. But if you can still show some kind of formal, not necessarily had a tie. Okay, for guys who do a tie, it will help you, I would say. Okay, it's not gonna make you as a winner because of that, but it shows that you are very serious, you are very respectful. I think that's a very good thing to have. Okay, Andy, that's a great question. So that's why you need to make sure you open your camera. Okay, you don't want to close the camera. That's not good. How many awards, Jason? That's a great question. It really depends. Okay, for this one, they do give a lot of awards. All the levels, I think they should. Well, I remember they will give anywhere from 30%, 30-40% of the people will have some kind of awards, I guess. But again, that's out of our control. Jet question. Okay, That question, just go ask the organizer on the day. Okay, in the Zoom, just ask them. Okay, explain what you need to do and why you need to go early. Math question, do you have to show demo? Yes, yes, you must show the demo. All right. Yeah, I think Andrew, yes, you feel free to go. And if you don't have a question, guys, make sure to remember to rehearsal, practice yourself, okay? And just enjoy it. It's a very fun thing to do, very easy, 5-10 minutes, that's it. All right, so Casper, what's your question?
When is it starting again?
I think it's Sunday, 9:30.
9:30?
Yes,
Okay, thanks.
no problem. And Emma, what's your question again?
Is this the meeting that we're going to? Like this
No,
meeting?
no, this is not the meeting we're going to, okay? So I send you the URL here. You should get emails, but where are the URLs? Here, okay, in the chat, okay? You go to the website, everything you should find in the website.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right, guys. Any other questions? Yes, I look like a biscuit. So what's your question? And Erica?
I was just wondering, so as soon as we present, can we leave or should we wait for everyone else in our room to finish presenting?
Oh, so once you finish your presentation, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. You ask the judge, should you leave or not? You make sure you ask them because there may be other interviews going on. So you maybe need to do multiple ones. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Got
Yeah,
it. Thank you.
just ask the judge. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Mhm. All right. Yeah, if you don't have a question, feel free to go. And so yeah, have a great night, guys.
Bye.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
All right, no
Well,
problem.
good night.
guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a great weekend. All right, thank you, Melody. That's a very awesome sharing, Melody. Thanks a lot. Yeah. All right. And Justin, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm just gonna see how long this meeting can last.
Yeah, well, we should wrap it up. Yeah. But yeah, that's a game for sharing. And when do you want to play actually show the music project?
Oh, that I mean, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to show that because it's like mostly from terminal.
Okay.
But I mean, we'll have to see the schedule, right?